Everybody, Zeal Brothers here once again with another video. This one is about Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton is calling out Latte Liberals for the bigotry of low expectations. And this is just a quote that he said. You want criminal justice to be criminal justice, but you do not want this kind of bedlam and lawlessness, Sharpton said. First of all, no one has fought for giving people reforms in terms of how they're sentenced to bail more than I have. But a guy or a lady stealing a Louis Vuitton bag is not somebody that needs social uplifting. This is somebody that is really causing us more of a problem. He blamed this bigotry of low expectations on Latte Liberals. I agree with him. And here's the thing. If you have ever been, here's the thing. There is a lot of us that are educated and black who have seen both sides of issues. And we've been educated long enough to see that there's a lot of racism in this liberalism. And there's more. And I'll just put it to you this way. There's racism everywhere, but it's pretty much even on both sides. And it is something that I have seen. And yes, you will experience racism on both ends of the spectrum. And I'll put it to you this way. As I have experienced it, I have gone to places where I've been in private schools. And in this private school, people will ask me all kind of ignorant questions, expect me to be the defender of the race or the spokesman of the race. Expect me to put up with foolish suggestions. They expect me to go along with different things. They expect me to be an athlete, not an educated person, not be able to carry an intellectual conversation, be able to dance instead of being able to talk, etc. Right? And then I've had liberals who have not been much better. And what do I mean by the liberals that haven't been much better? They will speak down to you, because they think you're dumb and they think you need their help. So on one hand, right-wing racism would be black people are worse than white people. Left-wing racism would be black people are worse than white people and we need to help them. Right? So right-wing racism would be, hey, look at them black people. There's no hope for them. And then left-wing racism is there's no hope for them unless it's me. And both of them have a problem. And Al Sharpton is right to point this out, because a lot of times when you talk to these liberals, they are uncomfortable being around you. When you look at some of the most racist communities, a lot of these are some of the most leftist communities. And I look at some place like a Boston. If you look at the northeast of the country, it is traditionally very liberal. But you will not find that they like black people very much over there. And the reason is because they are latte liberals. They have a sense of entitlement. And their sense of entitlement is that black people need to be seen but not heard. They need to support but not have power. And you'll see this a lot in the Democratic Party, where they will push and they'll say, yeah, you know, black people, yeah. And they'll say all these things and they'll push somebody that's acceptable to them, but is not, I would not say that they are authentically as black as people that we would talk to day to day, right? And when you hear some of these arguments that a lot of these leftists will say, at the end of the day, they have this point of view that is extreme in its low expectations for black people. And I'll just give you a perfect example. There were some people who were pushing on the right for photo ID for voting. And then there was some white liberals who said, well, black people can't get IDs. You know you need to get an ID in most places to get welfare. You need an ID to get alcohol. You need an ID in some places to get a cigarette. Where is it that black people are so low that we can't get IDs? So that argument was a bad one. And what it did is it betrayed their expectations, right? Because sometimes you just have to grant some sides a good argument. The idea that you should use a photo ID to vote, there's no problem with that. That should be an expectation. If you went over to Europe and said, hey, do you think that it's a racist thing or should be considered a political thing to show a photo ID to vote? They will be like, wait, what? That's just common sense. It is common sense. So it shouldn't be political. Let's think about another issue. The wall. Some people are treating a border wall as a racist act. Now, it can be, right? You could construe it that way, but just in the sense of saying, If I want to protect my border from somebody else, is it good to put up an obstruction so other people can't cross it as easy? There is nothing racial about it, and it is racially it's a point that you really can't counter. So I just want people to look at the political issues and understand that there are some latte liberals out there. They hate you. They hate you just as much as somebody in the deep South that killed Ahmaud Arbery hates you. There's no difference. And so when you look at these people, I think you need to be careful of it. And I'm not trying to color it as all white people are racist, but rather to say that there is racism all over and no political view is free of it. And no political view could be said to somehow help black people more than others. You have to look at the arguments and let them stand on their own merits, not based on who says it.